demonstration of Battlegroup Clash Baltics. So I'll give you a brief overview of the game and what it's looking to achieve, and then we will dive into the scenario. So Battlegroup Clash Baltics is a new game. It's not yet released. It will go up for pre-order in a couple of months' time. It is a game that I've designed based on a game called Battlegroup Wargame System, and that was a game that was made for the British Army for raising tactical awareness, and in particular allowing officers to practice what they write, essentially. So the British Army does a lot of work on planning, but not much in execution. So they wanted a game which allowed them to do a bit of planning, but then execute against a live opponent. So this is a commercially designed version of the game. It's adds some things, but pulls away a lot of other stuff to try and streamline it a bit. And I was really glad that Seb Bae was able to join, because really an inspiration for this game is Littoral Commander, in the sense that I want the game to appeal to both hobby and professional wargamers, and that's what I'm striving to achieve. So it's great that Seb's here to play and give some feedback. So the game is set in a hypothetical conflict in the very near future between blue and red forces, and it will have 4 scenarios in the final version, including a kind of campaign scenario. It will have optional rules around casualty management, ammo management, concealment. We'll play the kind of the base game at the moment. The game does have a bit of emphasis on preparation and what is known as staff work. So when you play the game, you are expected to read the scenario. Each side's got a specific scenario instructions, specific victory condition objectives, and it's possible for both sides to achieve a victory because they might have different objectives. And before the game begins, you will produce something called a sync matrix, which is a military term for planning ahead what different units are going to be doing. So you'll produce a sync matrix saying, this is a 6-turn game, what each of your task groups, because each your units are formed into task groups, what each of the task group has to achieve each turn over the 6 turns. And then they are called your orders. And when you activate your task groups, you will be expected to act against those orders. You have a bit of like broad leverage on how you interpret an order, but you have to try and follow it. If you can't follow it for reasons to do with like they no longer make military sense, or you're completely battered, you can issue new orders. But that takes time. So a currency, for lack of a better word in the game, is electronic transmission. So what I'm trying to achieve with this game is really create a game which is really about the modern battlefield as actually exists as we see in Ukraine at the moment. So electronic warfare is a key element. Keeping the a number of electronic transmissions down that you create is a key element, and drone warfare is a key element. So all those things feature in the game. Now, it's a counter game, but it's not a hex game, as you'll see. In fact, there's grids. So each grid is a kilometer. So it's how you measure movement is, for example, a tracked unit will have a movement of 2, which means it can move 2,000 meters or 2 grids. You don't use a ruler, you just do a rough approximation. Line of sight, similarly, doesn't obviously use hex, so you draw a line of sight almost like in a miniatures game. You draw from anywhere on the counter to anywhere on the opponent's counter, and you can draw line of sight. So it's not conventional kind of like hex and counter game in that sense. And if you're played miniatures games, it has a bit of like heritage there. So just quickly looking at the map, this is a map actually of northern Estonia, and this road is called the E20 in reality, and it leads from Russia all the way to Tallinn. In this scenario, a Russian, an advance guard of a Russian battalion tactical group is advancing down. This is a key bridge that they need to gain control of across this river, which looks quite benign, but if you go on Google Map and you look at it, it is not a benign river. So this is an important bridge they need to get across. You have here coming up a NATO battle group or part of the battle group. This isn't the full battle group. Its job is to kind of slow down the process of the red advance. And so blue has a couple of victory conditions and red has some victory conditions. We'll talk about them shortly. In this scenario, I've started it in turn 2. So in turn 1, normally people would be moving on, blue from here, red from here, but we're going to begin in turn 2, so things moving a bit. I'll just quickly explain what the forces are you can see in front of you. So there's 2 types of force in Battlegroup Clash. You have a force element, which is a kind of on-map piece. It represents typically a platoon or a section. So here, for example, you have a platoon of main battle tanks. Looking at it a bit more closely, what do we see in front of us? Well, we see that it's got a tank icon for NATO. The thing on the left, which is 8, is its combat strength. On the 6 on the right is its troop quality. The T shows it is tracked, and because the T is golden, that shows it can only be attacked by enemy units using golden anti-tank, because it's got Chobham reflex armor. The gold here means it shoots gold anti-tank, so it can target other tanks with it, and the green is anti-personnel. Whereas by contrast, this warrior unit or Ajax, depending on when this is set, it uses purple anti-tank, so it can't target a yellow thing, but it could target a purple unit. So these are all force elements. They're platoon size, or if they've got a 1 dot on them, like this recce unit or recon for our American friends, that is a section size. So they all share that information. Units can move in stacks. So if you've got a stack of units, what you have is a platoon, a vehicle platoon like this one, can have within it a mounted infantry platoon of the same ID and 1 single section. So looking at this example, this platoon has got a fire support team with it. Some platoons have got, for example, units with them which have got, so embedded within this platoon is an anti-tank section carrying javelins, and underneath, also embedded, is a mounted unit carrying NLAWs. So units move as task groups, as stacks or as individual. And then as a kind of a wider setting, you have a task group. So a task group is a group of force elements that have been grouped together just for a specific purpose, for a specific battle. So in this situation, and that's in the ORBAT and the scenario instructions, these are a task group. They are task group 1. They activate together. Activations happen. One player activates, other player activates, one player activates, other player activates. You activate a task group, so both of these will get to activate in that activation. This is a single task group. It's got a task. So each task group has got a set of orders. So for example, this recce unit has got a set of orders about screening to the southeast. So it has to try and meet those orders. So they are on board on force units. And then you also have things called support assets. So looking at blue has got a unit of first FPV drones and 155mm artillery. This isn't a support unit, but it does indirect fire. It's mortar platoon, and then blue has got a UAS platoon. Red has got similar, and these UASs they just move on hidden grid intersections. And what's interesting about them is they provide line of sight to all adjacent hexes. You can move them around, and they provide line of sight. Otherwise, line of sight is limited to 3 kilometers for every unit except a recce unit, which has got line of sight to 4. So these guys give you line of sight anywhere on the board. You just have to place them in the right place. And line of sight is necessary to do indirect fire, such as artillery. The final thing I'll say, and then we'll just begin playing. When I mentioned about the importance of electronic transmissions. When you do certain actions, for example, if you fire your artillery will have a fire plan on its sync matrix. So the artillery for blue might have a fire plan that says this grid intersection. So on turn 2, for example, blue's artillery has been given the fire plan. It should target this area. Now, if it targets that area, it only generates one electronic transmission. But if it's told to target, for example, this area, it can when it's activated. But because it's outside of its fire plan, it has to be given a lot of radio transmissions are going to be happening to allow that to happen. You have to make sure it's clear of friendly units. You have to re-verify where it's going to go. That generates more electronic transmissions. So every time you generate electronic transmissions, you're going to be drawing one of these counters, or one or more. And then when the time comes, they will get revealed. And that's how much electronic transmission you've generated. And you don't want to generate electronic transmissions for reasons that you'll see. So that's a kind of an overview of the game. I'll just say what the victory conditions are, and then we can begin. So red has got 3 victory conditions that it has to try and achieve. It doesn't have to achieve all of them, but the number that it achieves determines its overall level of victory. So you wouldn't, when you're playing competitively, you wouldn't know what the opponent's was necessarily, but we'll just say now because it's the best that way. So its number 1 objective is to get a platoon-sized unit across this bridge. That is that means it's got control of the bridge. Its second objective is to make sure it's controlling these 2 hills, and its third objective is to get a recce unit anywhere west of here, of the left hex. Okay, so that's its objectives. And blue's objectives are to number 1, to stop red getting that. So they've got 1 competing major objective. Blue also, and this is new. This is a new objective, Jan, compared to when we played before.
Yeah.
It has to have an I-star unit with line of sight to the road in this hex. And its third objective is to have less than 25% attrition at the end of the game. So it can't lose more than 10 steps. So what is I-star? I should explain that. I-star is any unit with a star. So it's going to be your UAS, your recce, and your FSTs. I-star needs to have line of sight to allow you to do artillery or FPV. So it needs to have I-star there, and the idea is that this is like a deep screening force that Blue's putting forward. So they're trying to get an I-star on there so they can interdict resupply and reinforcements for this vanguard. So that's the thinking there. Seb, do you have any questions, or should we just start playing and see how it goes?
No, we can just keep playing. I was just looking at the red because I'm playing red, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll help you there.
Yeah,
But
I was just looking at the sync matrix. I just had a couple questions about like what the verbiage was,
yeah.
uh, in terms of like its location, which I think it's referring to the locations at the bottom, right?
Yeah,
The
so
grid.
this is a prototype. This is all prototype, by the way, and these grid squares we need to change. But for example, your your sync matrix says your mortar has a fire plan in turn 2 on grid square E01. So what is grid square E01? Well, that's E, and that is O1's here. So that means you can mortar attack any of those 4 hexes, and it will only
Ah,
generate one ETX. So for like indirect fire, it refers to the kind of intersect. But for example, where you have something which says secure hex D DO2, that's BO2, for example, that's B, that line there, and that's 2 there. So that means anywhere down of the letter and right of the number. So BO2 is there. That will be something that I'll fix a bit more in the final version. But okay, so we'll just go through what happens in the sequence before we jump into the action. So in the sequence of play, the first thing that you do is you rally. So this game has morale. So first of all, what we're going to do, we can see here that in turn 1, both sides took a bit of artillery damage. So looking at red, sorry for jumping around like this. So if you're looking at red, both these units took a suppression, and this guy, these units have got, red units have got 3 steps, blue units have got 4 steps. So this guy you can see is on his 2-3, so he's on his second of his 3 steps. So he's got a suppression 1, so he needs to do a rally test. So what you do with the rally test is you look at the troop quality, which is 5, and you need to roll equal to or less than troop quality, but you're getting -1 because you're suppressed. So you're on 4. And then the other factor is, do you have line of sight to an enemy? If the answer is no, then you get +1. So you don't have line of sight to an enemy because you only see 3 kilometers. So you can't see an enemy. So that's good for your morale. So you're feeling better. So you're on +1. So basically, you're on 5, -1 for the suppression, +1 for the troop quality. So you only fail if you roll a 6. So if you want to do your rolls there, Seb, for those two, starting with this one.
Well, he's not
Or,
in the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so of
Yeah.
course you're not. You're not on, are you? So my bad. Okay, so that's that one. Yeah, they just got away with it
Just
for the next one.
perfect.
Yeah, okay. Good start. Okay, so they both shake it off, and then if blue wants to do the same.
Sure. From
So
top
again,
to
you're just failing
bottom,
on 6s.
say
Fine.
3. Let's see. 4 is all
Fine.
right.
All good. So they've all passed the test, but you can also be disrupted, which then starts getting harder. And then if you're disrupted and you fail a morale test, you'll become broken. So that's that. Now we're going to move into the electronic warfare stage. So what we'll do is, because we both did artillery last turn, we both generated 1 ETX. So we're both going to reveal what we've got. So I generated 1, or red generated 1. So did
1
you.
as well.
Okay, so no one. The important thing about ETX is not to generate more than your opponent. So neither of us generated more than the opponent. So we can just put these back in the bag now. So what we'll do now is we both draw 1 EW chit. This is electronic warfare chits. Why isn't it drawing?
Just 1, right?
1. If someone had drawn more than the opponent, they would draw 2. But
Right.
I'm not being able to draw. Have you drawn 1 now? I can't see.
Yes, I have.
Okay, I've drawn 1 as well. Okay, so let's have a quick look at these chits. So these chits represent kind of like electronic warfare effects. You can either play them for the green side or the pink side. It's up to you. The green side is beneficial to you. The pink side is detrimental to the opponent. If it says immediate, you can play it straight away. Or if it says hold, you can hold on to it. So my one I hold, I can either hold it and play it when I'm doing an artillery attack to give me +2, or play it when an opponent does an artillery attack to give them -2. And blues allow us to play it immediately to gain another FPV attack, or to hold on to it to give the opponent a negative FPV attack. So in the game, red generally is better than FPV because, frankly, the Russians are better than the NATO at drones and electronic warfare. So they have more. So the Russians start the game with 5 or 6 FPV, and the NATO with only 3. So you can decide if you want to play that immediately or you want to hold on to it to give me a negative. That's up to you, Jan.
I will play this immediately.
So you'll get 1 FPV more.
Put it back in the bag. And where's my FPV here? Flip it to 4.
Good. Okay, so that's the end of the electronic warfare stage. Some of these EW chits are very powerful, some are more situational. So now we are moving on to the initiative phase. So in turn 1, red had the initiative, but from turn 2 onwards, we're going to roll. So we'll roll a d6 and then we'll work through the modifiers that are done. 3 and 1. So what modifiers are applying? Well, I'm getting +1 because I had the initiative last turn. So I'm on to 2. Blue is on 3. By I mean Seb. Blue is on 3. Blue will get the difference in the combat in the C2 rating of the HQ. So both sides have got a tactical HQ on the board. You'll see it a bit later on, but just trust me for now. They're both on the board. They're hidden in a stack. Blue's C2 rating is 3. Red's is 2. So blue gets +1 for that. Put them onto 4. And then if you eliminated opponents' units, you'd get bonuses for that. And if you had less electronic transmissions, you get bonuses for that. But that hasn't happened. So the result is that blue has got higher than red. And if it's a draw, it's C2 rating, which blue would also win. So blue has the initiative. So the first thing you want to do now is we're moving into the I've skipped the bit to do new orders because you can issue new orders, but we're not going to do that. So Jan, you have the initiative. You get to activate a task group. And remember, you can do a command activation with your HQ to activate more than one task group if you want to.
Right. I'm wondering if I should call in another artillery strike here, but maybe I wait with that, and instead I will activate my, what's that, task group 6, which is the mortar,
Yeah.
which has a fire mission for D5. Let's quickly reference that. D5 is here. And what I want to do is drop some smoke.
So mortar can't do smoke. It's only artillery. Sorry.
Oh. Okay. Well, that's. Then let me quickly see if the artillery. Where's the reference there? D4. Maybe that's equally good. Yep. That's here. Okay. Then I drop that with the artillery. Sort of in between the hills here, and reduce my fire mission by 1.
Yep. Okay, so smoke provides a blockage to a line of sight. So anything beyond this is now blocked by line of sight. Okay, so Sebastian, it's now our go. So let's have a quick look at the forces that we've got here. We've got this task group, which is task group 2. So on our sync matrix, which obviously the opponent wouldn't know, but we will say it here, this has got the order to maneuver to Varja, which is this city here. Here you've got task group 1. That's also got the order to maneuver to Varja, but after task group 2. Here you've got your Recce units, which are your task group 4. Here you've got a reserve task group. So reserve activates like any other task group, but it also once per game gets to do a reserve activation, which means after everything's activated, it can activate again. So that's, like classic reserves. You can't do that if you use them for firing or assaulting, but as long as you don't fire or assault with them, they remain in reserve and you get to do a one-off reserve. So that's what that unit is up there. And then you've got your mortar guys down here. And also, Jan, have you done your blue forces? Your hidden blue?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Have you declared? You've done it. Okay. So
yeah.
there's going to be a surprise at some point. But anyway, we'll worry about that in a second. So what would you like to do looking at the sync matrix?
Yeah, I'll move task group 2 into Varja. And then I think that's the one thing I'll do because I can only activate one task group at a time, correct?
Yeah, exactly. No, what you could do, you can activate so you've got an HQ, which is where is he? I think actually he's here. You've got attack HQ there. So your HQ can, if you activate his task group, he can do something called a command activation to activate other task groups within 1,000 meters up to his command rating -1. So his command rating is 2. So he could activate, if his task group's activated, you could also activate another task group if you wanted to. I'm not saying you should. That generates an electronic transmission though. So let's just activate these guys. So you can move them as normal, or you can move and fire them. You've got an anti-tank guided missile here of a
Yeah,
stabber.
can I move the view down to the left a little bit, south of Varja, where blue's
This one.
disposition is? Yeah. Oh no, to the city. Yeah,
Here.
where the smoke is. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. You can do that. Now, in this stack, you've got a mounted platoon of foot infantry. You can at any point you can dismount them at any point. You can dismount them before the vehicle activates and they become a separate activation, or as part of the vehicle's activation, you can dismount them during the movement and they can move 250 meters, and that's the end of their activation. Obviously, the benefit of that is they can actually contribute to the combat. The downside is they can't be targeted when they're mounted, but as soon as they're out, they can be targeted. So, but while they're mounted, if this unit takes a hit, for every hit this unit takes, you roll a d6, and a 4, 5, or 6, they also take a hit. Otherwise, they don't.
Yeah.
So,
So can I dismount those?
yep, sure. Where would you like them to go? They can just move 250 meters in a kind of like a repositioning.
Yeah, sort of just north, just sort of directly beneath the smoke text.
You want to put them in there in the open?
Uh,
Right.
so I have a quick question on that. So on the hills to over here, right? What is the effect in terms of like combat in line of sight?
So here, if you put
Yeah.
them here, for
Hmm.
example, and they can either there's no I'd say there's no line of sight there, but remember you can draw a line of sight from anywhere to any edge to any edge. So arguably, I don't want just to show this just for argument's sake. Sorry, I meant to draw a line there. You could probably argue that there is a line of sight between there, and no, there isn't actually, because that woods. Sorry, that is they're going through that woods, so there isn't a line of sight there.
Yep.
So they would be line of sight is line of sight. It's blocked by this. It's blocked by that. It's blocked by that. It's blocked by your own counters. It's blocked by
Yeah.
opponents' counters,
Okay.
and then this kind of stuff. I'd be interested in feedback. At the moment, I'm just saying it's open because I don't want lots of people to have lots of discussions about, minutiae of line of sight. But there's an optional rule that says if you disagree that it's open, treat it as a penalty on the firing.
Yeah.
So at the
Then
moment, it's
another quick question. How
yeah.
far can the in-law fire? I'm assuming it's like an AT4.
The N-law, you just look at the number on it. It's 1. So
One.
RPGs and N-laws fire 1. Stabbers and javelins fire 3.
So like one click.
Yeah, 1 click, 1 hex, 1 grid square.
Okay. Then I will keep it where it is, and can I move the other unit sort of up into near this? Actually, yeah, I'll have it behind the smoke. Yeah.
Okay, and do you want to dismount that? So there you've got let's see what you've got there. Sorry guys. You've got a fire support team and another mounted infantry platoon with an RPG.
Yeah. For the RPG, can I situate them on that southern hill, or is that too far of a
No, that's
reposition?
fine. No, that's fine because you can move. You can drop them off as you're moving, so you could easily
Yeah.
get down to there. Yeah. So let's just do that. So let's just say you would have done that. So you want to drop them about behind the hill or around there?
Yeah. And that's
Okay.
I'm assuming that's as far as they can go. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably about
Yeah.
fine. They can climb the hill next turn.
Yeah.
So let's put them there like that. Are you happy with that positioning?
Yep. That's fine.
Okay. So what we'll do, we'll give them moved markers.
Jan is just afraid.
Well, already you're doing something which no one's done before. So, no, I quite like it. So we're going to give these move markers. So move markers, they do 2 purposes. These markers, one, they just show that they've been activated and remind of what they did. But also, if you've moved, it has an effect on dice roll on DRMs for certain fire actions. So we track it for that reason as well. Okay, Jan, it's your turn.
Yep.
Jan, I accept your surrender.
Not quite yet. It's gonna be my recce up here, moving on the road, and that's about 2. It should get to there, I guess.
Okay, good. So you
be
just take a
moved.
move mark. Okay, back to you, Sebastian.
I'm actually gonna have task group 2 activate, and they can
Okay.
move what?
So just want to, yeah, and you need to take electronic transmission because of your artillery. So I'll put that down there for you.
Right.
Your task group. You mean that was task group 2 that's
3.
activated?
I mean, 3 is the one right behind it, right?
The reserve one.
No, the other one on
Yeah,
the road.
that's task group 1. Yeah.
Yeah. Task group 1. How far can they move? 2 clicks.
2 clicks. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have them just drive not along the road, but towards along that line right underneath of them, towards the hill right next to the move marker.
Yep. So about there.
Yep.
I think that's probably about 2 clicks. Yep.
Hmm.
Okay. And do you want to dismount or anything, or just leave them like that?
No, leave them at like that for now.
Okay. And then I'll do the moves when Jan's taking his, and then let's move the other guys as well. So
Yep.
sorry,
Right.
mate.
Then I go ahead, move my
Coming
task
for you, Jan.
Just so you know, in this task group, you've got a embedded anti-tank section as well with a stabber. All your stabbers are on their depleted side, so that means they only fire once. Normally, with the ATGMs, they're either on full or depleted. You use them once, they go to depleted. You use them again, they're gone. In the advanced rules, you'll be able to do replendems to get ammo resupplies, but we're not worrying about that now. Okay.
All right. I just went ahead, activated my task group 1, moved it up to the bridge. So it's back over to Sebastian.
Okay.
Can I see the bridge situation for a second?
Yep.
God damn, Jan. Why do you make me fight for this bridge?
Well, that's the objective, right?
All right, okay. Let's look back at mine. And where do I need to have the Reiki at the end? It was like north of the bridge, but on my side of the river.
At the very end, you need to get it off the side of the board, essentially, off the side of the map. That's
Oh,
for
okay.
your victory conditions. But also,
Oh.
Recce also kind of just good because they're I-star that's got 4-kilometer range, whereas everything else only got 3. So they're kind of handy in that regard as well.
Okay. Then can I move them sort of to that north hill?
Here,
Above. Yeah.
you can. That would be going against your orders a bit, which isn't a very red thing to do because your orders are just
yeah.
to maneuver to Moldova.
I don't even know what that is. Where's that?
It's just here. It's just there.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I can move towards there, and I'll get to where I want.
Yep. Okay, over to Jan.
Yeah, just quickly need to take a look at these units.
Just come to me, Jan. Come on. Let's get this started.
Well, he's got his so as an activation, Seb, you can actually just move this UAS if you want to. That could be one of your activations. So there's a bit of cat and mouse in the game as well about when do you activate and would you wait for what the opponents.
Are there things that he has that can shoot my UAS down?
The only thing that can stop the UAS, there's an EW chip which allows you to jam it for a turn, but no
Okay.
one's drawn that. But otherwise, no, the UAS, no, it's a pain in the ass.
All right.
Okay, let me have a look at my. Okay, oh, well, I can't do
No air
anything.
defense for you, Jan.
Yeah, sadly. Okay, then it will just be this Recce. And if I'm not mistaken, it is tasked to go there.
So that is your Recce. No, that's tasked to go to the wood grid square D05.
D503. Let's see, D.5. D.5, and then
03. Oh no, you're right. It's yeah, it is. It is. My bad. Yeah.
Yep.
Good. Okay, Seb.
No, I'm listening. I'm just trying to look at my sync matrix here, see how much I.
Yeah, so you could activate your mortar or your artillery or the drones, although I don't think there's a line of sight at the moment. Oh well, there is via the UAS, but
The UAS line of sight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, these guys have got a line of sight of 4, and these guys aren't fully in the forest, so they would have a line of sight.
James, remind me how close do units need to be to a hidden unit to reveal it?
They have to actually touch it.
Okay.
Good question. What is or where is FPG1E01?
G1E01. So E is there. 01 is there. So it's here. So if you're looking at your mortar or your FPV, they could both target this unit. Well, you can target any unit anyway, but this would only generate 1 ETX because part of this unit is still within the line of sight of that. So they can target it because it's in the line of sight of that. This one you wouldn't be able to target because it's not in the line of sight of anything with I-star.
So I have a quick question. If I move the UAS, FPV over those drones, right at the intersection, can I fire upon both with mortars?
No, you're only firing at one. You just fire at one step with mortars.
All right, then can I do a fire mission?
Yep, sure.
With the mortars on the southern unit that they can see via the drone.
This one.
Hi.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you can. So the mortar, the fire plan, that's within its fire plan. So that only generates 1 ETX, and the drone gives you the line of sight. So what we're going to do, we'll work through this one. So this is the first indirect fire. So first of all, we're going to take 1 ETX. That goes there. Then the next thing is we'll go through the what the FPV does. So the FPV is going to cost you, like I said, you've got 5 of them. So we'll go down to, it's going to be one of them gone, 4. Then we're going to just roll 2d6 and we'll work through the modifiers.
Better roll well, James.
Well, yeah, with FPV, because actually they're not that good. Whoa! Mate, I'm really sorry.
well,
Okay,
that's nothing.
let's just work through anyway, so you just know what kind of happens with indirect fire. So because it's quite interesting actually, because like when you research it more, FPVs aren't that effective. So you wouldn't necessarily know that via all the stuff that gets posted on YouTube, but they only post the good stuff. So it's generally only like 20 to 30% effect, whatever that means. So okay, let's work through it. So you've got UAS to line of sight to the target. That's +2. That puts you on to 6. The target is, if you had friendly recce or FST, that would give you even more, but you don't with line of sight. Target's in an open, that gives you another +1. So the target doesn't have a move marker, so that's fine. There's no other effects, but the target is a tracked vehicle without reflexive armor. Yes, so you get -3, so that puts you down to 1, puts you down to 4. And 4 on the indirect fire table with an FPV has no effect, I'm afraid. So that is your FPV activated.
Just bumped into the field.
Yeah,
man, just giving you a hello,
jammed.
like welcoming shot.
He got jammed. Okay, yeah.
All right, then I better get moving and get these guys out of there.
Exactly as planned.
Yeah. And they are, let me see. There, over there, yes. Okay. So they go 2, that's 1, that's 2. Remind me quickly about this sort of run. Is it also only crossable here, or?
No, don't worry about that. That's going in the next version of the map. It's
okay. I still might want to go there anyway. And then the other guys.
So you're not firing, you're just moving.
Yeah, just moving.
Okay. All right. So take move markers. So Seb, over to you.
Quick question on objectives. If Jan stops me from moving across the bridge, but I like get my Reiki off and do the seizure of the hills, who wins?
Well, you can both get. It's not like you can both. Depends how he does. So it's possible for you. It's not possible for you both to get a substantive victory, but you can both get a certain type of victory. So you've got to get. I don't have the exercise in front of you. If I remember correctly, you've got to get to get a substantive victory. You've got to get two or all 3 victory conditions. For major one, it's 2 of them, one of which must be this one, and then for a minor one, it's just anyone, I think, or something like that. So yeah.
All right, tracking. Can I move my mobilization to the city to objective 1?
Your what? Your
My reserve task force. It's the only one that hasn't moved, right?
yeah. So you can still activate your mortar, and you can still activate that. But yeah, so you can move them. They can move 2 kilometers. So you want to go where to there, and then whereabouts?
Towards the hills, just to the
This way.
left flank of the current unit, or no, other way. The other hills. Yep.
This like here.
A little further up the road.
Okay.
But yeah. And then south. Yep.
And yeah, these have got just 1 mounted unit. Okay, that's fine. That's like a target-rich environment there, Jan.
Yeah, it is. Yes, it is. So unfortunately, I've already used my artillery, so that means then
Have
that
you?
well,
Wait,
to drop the smoke because the mortars weren't able
oh
to.
yeah.
See?
So then it's
Oh, Jan.
the mortars to play. Let me quickly double check that I still have that right. D05. Yeah, let's see. Okay, so then I will target this. Oh, wait a second. I don't have line of sight, right? And this
Well, you've
guy.
got line of sight. No, you've got line of sight from your. Is your recce? No, you haven't got line of sight. No,
No, the
you blocked it
recce
with your
is
smoke.
here and doesn't see them through the smoke, I would think.
You can move your UAS. You can move your UAS. That's your
Yeah,
action.
you know what? I just target this guy and hope that these are hit as well.
Yeah. So with mortar, you only suppress foot units. So it's only artillery that affects that suppresses more widely. But okay, let's just go for it. So you want a mortar. So you've got a mortar range of 6, which I haven't played this game before. I am pretty confident that it's just about within 6. So let's roll 2d6 and then work out what the effect is.
Only a 5.
Yeah, it's probably not going to be that good. So plus 2 for the UAS, plus 1 because it's in open, which is going to put you on to 8. And then you are minusing 2 because it's moved, and then you're minusing 3 because it's got armor. So that's a 3. And a 3 is no effect with your mortar. So the only effect is you're generating one ETX and using up 1 mortar. Okay, Seb?
Do I have any artillery left?
Yeah, you've got your you've got two fire missions left.
All right. Is it for the turn or is it for the whole scenario?
The whole scenario.
Okay. Can I move my UAS?
Yep. Where would you like to move it to?
I would like it over the. Can I put it at the intersection of this the 4 quad squares with the 3 units most close to me?
Those ones?
Yep.
Okay. Yep, that's done. That's your activation.
What do I have left? I have the FPVs and the hidden guys. Which are not allowed to shoot anyway.
Well, they can be activated to okay, all right. Yeah, depending who they are, they can be activated to shoot. But...
Yeah, well, they just have an hold order, so I will just place that so everybody knows I've activated those, and then it's back over to you.
Can I call a fire mission in to that southern unit on that road coming up next to my UAS?
Yep. So you're doing it with your artillery. So your artillery has got. Yep. So your artillery has an fire mission of E01. So that's okay. You can still do that, but you're targeting outside. Oh no. So yeah, E01. You've got your fire plan is for here. So you can target outside of that, but that's going to generate 3 electronic transmissions for you. So let's just do that. But it makes sense because you've got that marker, you've got that EW chip that you can play. So your EW chip gives you +2 as well. So which unit are you targeting?
That's the most southern one coming along that road. Yeah.
That one. Okay. All right.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So let's work through what this is. So I'll roll the 2 dice for you, and then we'll figure out what happens.
Come on, James.
Oh my god.
Oh mate, there you go. That's not going to be good for those guys.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
So you're going to get +2
promotion
for
for you, James.
Thank you. +3 because it's in the open. -3 because it's got reactive armor, and -2 because that goes down to a 10. So a 10 on a 152 is 2 hits, which is very nice. So you need to. So what happens when you hit a stack? Well, first of all, you look at if the hit goes on the section. So the reason why you put sections in stacks is to protect them, because if the stack takes a hit, the section only takes a hit if you roll a 1. So you want to roll 2. We'll roll 2d6, and if we get a 1, we hit this because we've rolled 2 hits. If if we get a 1, we've hit the section, which would be nice because we want to take out. Okay, so both of the hits went on the warrior platoon on the
you can
javelin.
even play the chit and increase it to 3 hits total.
Yeah, you probably would have done that actually. So you play because you drew that EW chit. I forgot about that, but
Yes.
see, this gives you okay. So that you would have played that because you've got to use it or lose it. So that gives you 3 hits. So let's just roll the third one.
It's gonna be a 1. No.
Okay. Yeah, that's a bit of a shame. No, okay, so what we do now is you roll again because we have to see if the units inside take hits from concussion and splinters and stuff. The platoon inside on a 4, 5, or 6. Oh, that's not good, is it, Jan? Okay, so the unit inside takes.
Now you roll a 1.
Yeah, the unit inside takes 2 hits, and that takes 3. So what we'll do is we take out these markers and replace them with the the three. This one has to go on its 4-step, and this one has to go on its 3-step.
1A1 4.
And they get a suppression.
And the infantry, right? Yeah.
So everyone in the stack's got a suppression, and
I told you, Jan, I accept your surrender.
Yeah, man, that hurts. That definitely hurts.
So we'll just mark that. The downside is you've only got 1 artillery mission the rest of the game, but you know,
fine.
It's still fine.
I know exactly where I'm going to use it too.
Yeah, you're American, aren't you? Whatever.
Not gonna roll a 12 again.
If you're British, that would be like 1/3 of our total supplies. Okay, just kidding. All right. So anything else to do?
Yeah, I'm wondering about the FPVs. I mean, again, they are not that helpful, probably. Can they do any damage against the battle tank? No, right?
He does have some dismounted infantry, doesn't he?
Yeah, but not within 1. It's over here.
Yeah.
Oh well, this one would be. This one would be.
Yeah.
But is it? Is that worth it?
You got this, Jan. Don't let Sebastian get to your head.
Yeah.
It's all about the psyops.
That's.
I was gonna say there are rules for psyops. Cool.
Why not? Yeah, let's pop an FPV on these guys just because I gained 1.
So for FPVs, is that in your fire plan?
Well, that's a very good question.
You've got fire plan CO5. CO5.
BO4. That is somewhere completely.
No, your turn to your FPV's got a CO5, right? Am I imagining?
No, I'm using the slightly adjusted thing
you
I
changed
put together. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, you can. Yeah. Okay. So you can still do it, but it'll generate 3 ETX.
Let's see. So I have 1. Sebastian has 4 already. That's a bit of a gamble. Yeah, you know.
Yeah. Life is meant to be a gamble, Jan.
Yeah, I will. I just draw 3 and take a fired thingy here and flip my FPVs to 3, and then I.
So you're targeting this unit, right?
Target this guy, yes. So 12, please.
Oh, that's not bad.
That's a 9.
Yeah, so it's 9 plus 2 because you've got the UAS plus 1 because it's in the open. So that puts you actually up to 12. But then it's got a move marker that puts you down to 10.
That's still good enough.
10. That's still wise. So they flip to. We'll keep those there. They flip to that side and they take a suppression. I can't drag these. Okay, so I think you've both activated all your
yeah, I believe so.
Units.
I will put your artillery chit back into that bag.
I was actually going to just not do that because the trouble with TTS is just pulls them all out again. So I was going to just
you can just right click and shuffle the bag.
It doesn't work on TGS. We'll see, but it generally doesn't work for bags. So
well, it just did.
okay, I'll take it back. So that's the end of the turn. So first of all, we remove the markers. So the smoke marker gets removed. Smoke this last one turn, and all the move markers get removed, and fire markers.
Yes. It's strange. It's like modern mortars. Don't they carry like smoke grinds, or is it just your judgment of not being effective enough?
No, they do. I was just trying to keep it simple. But if the view is that we probably should give them smoke as well, that's.
I mean, it just sort of feels a bit harsh to like spend 1 of 3 artillery missions on just 1 pop of smoke.
Yep, I know. I mean, yeah. So the artillery is really just. It's not. It's also just because you're rapid advancing. So it's not like you've got fixed artillery. This is just like mobile, like archers. It's mobile. So that was my thinking, that you shouldn't have that many. But yeah, I can definitely see the argument for having smoke with mortars. Okay, so that's the end of the first turn. Any questions from anyone about the game or rules, or we'll roll into the second turn? All clear?
I was going to say that mortar units not always came with smoke. It depended on their TOE. So, I mean, you can argue either way, really.
Yeah.
And well, I haven't been in the Army since 1990, so I could be wrong, but there were a lot of mortar units did not carry smoke.
Interesting.
Okay.
Or they may not have enough to put down an effective screen
Right.
for
Yeah.
the scale.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe it's something for the scenario-specific rules about if.
Yeah, that would work better. Or like you can customize system or something where you can change the TOE.
Yeah. Yeah, in the game there will be. You can just create your own scenarios as you want as well. Okay, so we're going to go into turn 2. So, this is turn 3 actually. So let's just do we do this at the same time now. We'll just do the rally.
4 was still good enough.
So
nice.
5. No.
No.
Well, no, it probably is okay actually. So they've got a troop quality of 5 down to 4. But because there's no enemy in line,
it's equal and less than, right?
Yeah, but there's no enemy in line of sight, so you get +1 for that.
Nice.
So I think you are okay. Okay, so then we're going to go to the all-important EW reveal. So let's see who's got more.
I have 5.
Oh, what have I just done there? Sorry, I didn't mean to. I pressed roll instead of flip.
Oh my god. That's wrong.
Well, there you go. So,
see, Jan, I told you.
the Reds get that.
Good OPSEC. Oh my guys.
So we're going to draw
signals management.
2 EW chits now.
What does it say?
I just get 1.
Okay, so the triangulation you had before. This one's in it, and you get to move your UAS twice. So you move it once, but the other one's even nicer, potentially UAS spoofing. So you have to play it immediately on a 40. Roll a d6 on a 4 to 6. The enemy UAS has no line of sight this turn. So do you hold on or not?
Oh no, let's use that.
Yeah, you got to use it. I'm wondering if that's so obvious that you use it that it's just like I should change the other side. Okay, but you've only got a 50% chance, so I'm rolling. You're looking for getting a 4, 5, or 6 here. Otherwise,
not this time.
Sorry, mate.
James.
Sorry.
James. Lieutenant James.
Okay, I'm gonna play GPS
That's
Disrupted.
Junior Lieutenant James now, right?
Which is
Sorry, what's that?
immediate.
So who just spoke then?
I was just gonna say I play GPS Disrupted immediate. All enemy elements only move 75% max this turn.
Okay.
Why are you gonna make me do math, Jan? Jesus.
And the other one, just so you know what it was, it allows you to discard ETX markers, secure. But you're playing this now. Okay, so you can only move 75% of your normal movement because your GPS is disrupted, or whatever it is. What's the red one called? I forget now. But anyway, whatever it is, it's been disrupted. Probably Starlink these days. Okay, so that's that. So we're going to roll for initiative now. Blue's getting +1 for having the initiative last turn, and +1 for its C2, but Red's getting +1 because it had less EW. Oh dear. Okay, so Blue's got it again.
Okay, let me see what my artillery has for fire mission DO4. It's not like juicy enough, I think. Okay, you know what? I will try and get these guys out of the way. And they are tasked to go over here. There would be 1, there would be 2. 1, 2. Hide behind the hill, guys.
So you're giving these guys new orders. All right, I like it.
Yeah, again, I'm using a slightly
Yeah, that's fine. No dismounting.
modified matrix.
Cool, that's fine. Good
Mm.
for you. Okay, Seb.
Ooh. 1 second. I gotta look at my single matrix real quickly.
Just while you're
James,
doing that, I just open it.
if you want to
go on,
look
yeah.
at my matrix, by the way, it's in the file you shared via the drive.
Okay,
I've just
right, that's fine.
duplicated and modified it slightly.
That's fine. I just while Seb's thinking about his move, I'll just open up the question to the wider audience. How do people, hobby gamers, feel about this concept of using a sync matrix? So you basically you write down your orders before. They're just 1 or 2 word orders, but you kind of have to follow them. What are I know that TCS did it, but differently. What are people's views about that as a hobby gamer? Is that attractive? Do you dislike the idea of that?
If there appears to be a strong rationale in making sure, you know, you actually have to think about a plan. I mean, we don't tend to have games where we like to plan too much because we tend to, you know, we can just do things on the fly. But if it could be done where perhaps not writing it down, perhaps putting chits on a sheet where it's like, okay, your job is to move at sort of this type of formation to this destination, rather than actually writing things down. Because writing things down, you tend to have to write a style. If you've ever looked at Fields of Fire, where you're building up, you know, what assets your company has, you know, they want you to use a certain, you know, nomenclature, which is fiddly for unless you're really familiar with it. So yes, in general, but it has to be something that the hobbyists can grasp in what's important without having to be, you know, move forward 200 yards, then take the left turn. You know, how granular, how much detail do you have to put into these things, or is it generalizations? You know, advance north towards this objective. You know, mission tactics or detail tactics is really the question from me.
Yeah. So the rules at the moment say it's up to you. So if you're doing it for more professional kind of training purposes, you might want to go more into detail. But otherwise, you might just say, seize this hill by turn 3 and keep it at that.
I do have to say, as someone who did a lot of both modern and miniature World War II gaming, having to write your orders was pretty much ubiquitous when I was doing it a lot. And I think it brings a great deal. I think it makes it much more realistic. I think that some scope for creative order writing is actually valuable in the game. So it's not the norm in, you know, hex and shit war games, but it absolutely has been the norm, or at least was in the 70s, 80s, and 90s for an awful lot of miniature gaming. And we still use it because we think it makes the game much more realistic. So I've never had a problem with it. I've always seen it as working very well.
Good, thank you.
Or perhaps
I
give
take
people the
off
option.
track. You need to simplify it and minimize the overhead to the player so they can get to the game.
Or give them the option of here, you want to go detailed, then write it down and follow a certain standard of what rules are. And then, because I played minis a long time in the past, where at the end of the game we would actually reveal what orders we wrote, and then people would argue about whether or not
Oh, yeah.
they actually
Yeah, yeah.
followed the orders, or
Well-
your order was actually specific enough or overly
Yeah.
detailed. You know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that
We
is a
give the
risk.
players the option to even eliminate it.
Oh, there will be. So there'll
Good.
be an optional. There'll be an optional rule that says if you don't want to play with it, you don't need to.
Or-
For
or-
sure.
Yeah, they
Or
want
have
to
a
get
simplified
the
system.
action.
Yeah.
This isn't miniatures.
Yeah.
I played miniatures and designs miniature stuff. That's not in vogue anymore. People's attention spans are decreasing, and they want to get to the action and get it done as quick as they can, hopefully within the evening.
Give people the option.
Got to
have-
get to result.
have
get
it
to
at different
results.
levels.
Okay,
Alright,
thanks, James. Let's say this.
hey,
So,
James.
Yeah. Yes.
Let's move task group 2
Okay.
into this into I can reach the south, and can I engage combat with those two guys range wise?
These ones down here.
Yep.
Yeah, sure.
I should probably have dismounted a few guys there, but well.
The other question is, can I move the one that was dismounted into a position where he's in range in Varja to shoot his little in-law thing?
So he's got his in open he can move. Is it? I think it's 1. So he could certainly go down the mountain pass because that's considered open and fire that way.
Because task group 2 is the one in the city, right?
Yeah.
He's
So
like the advanced one.
this one, right? He's in task group 2. So he could move to there, or he can move on. Yeah. So on open they can move. He can move 1. So he could probably go to about there. I think probably you could argue he could get to there and he could shoot them. It's going to be a tight line of sight though, so I'd definitely give like a bit of a penalty for that.
Okay.
Yeah, but or he'd go down there easy and do it.
So can you highlight the ones that are task group 2 for me as a reminder?
So yeah. So it's basically all the ones with a 2 in front of it. So that, and I think these are as well. I think they're your dismounts.
Yeah, so those 4 units, right? So I want the dismounted between the hills to go down between the 2 hills in a firing position to shoot. The other one to into the city where your original position was.
Okay, so we're doing them one at a time, and you're doing a fire move action, so that's good. So red fire move is not quite as good as blue fire move. You get a -2 penalty on that. So you can move to there, fire, and then sneakily with a bit of movement left, kind of go back.
Mhm.
If you want to do that.
Yes.
So what we haven't talked about yet is because it hasn't come up, but the both sides have an action they can do called Overwatch, which would allow blue doesn't have it at the moment, but if they're in Overwatch, they'd be able to fire at you when you came around before you got to fire at them, but they don't. So we know that you're going to move back to there. So this is going to go to its flip side. They're going to get a moved order, and you're going to fire. So let's roll and see what happens. It's not a moved order, a move. Marker. Oh, I'm really sorry. So
used up all the luck for the artillery.
So with this is the first time we've done direct fire. So direct fire is a little bit. Oh, sorry. Direct fire is a little bit different. In direct fire, we're looking at troop quality. So they've got troop quality of 5. That gives them +1. And the target is an open terrain. Yep. So that's +2. Target is wheeled or tracked with move marker. Yep. So that's -1. So I'm +1 at the moment. And then because you're red doing a fire move, that's -2, which puts you onto -1 in total, which takes you down to 4. And a 4 with an RPG is a no effect. It just bounced off their armor. So nice try, no cigar. But they probably are a bit shocked. Okay, so sorry, I can't drag any of these. What's your next one then, Seb?
Is the other in-law coming down into Varja?
This one, yep.
Going down and shooting at the one in the rear, the west one.
Shooting at the recce unit.
Yeah.
You can probably.
I think the
That one.
woods are in the way.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
the southern
You're gonna
one.
have to. Yeah.
Oh, this one. Yeah.
This one.
Yeah, the one to the south. Right, that's the
that one.
Yeah, the one you're
Okay,
drawing
yeah.
the red
So
line to.
yeah, okay. And where do you want the movement to end? Because you have to declare that beforehand.
Yeah,
Do
so
you want to
right
end a
there.
bit behind that cover? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So okay, now let's roll and see if I can roll any better for you this time.
Hopefully
Come on,
not.
James.
Not quite.
No, no. So what did we say that it's going to be the same? One in total, which is the 5, which I'm fast. Okay, so you've got 2 more units to activate in this task group. This guy's got a stabber, pretty nasty.
Oh, there was a disconnect. I will
You can
quickly
roll.
join again.
The other one has the
He's
one
only
that
got
has
one.
the dismount to stabber, right?
No, the stabber's on the vehicle, right?
Oh. Cool. Let's do that.
Oh, but they give you a +2 if they got line of sight, so they're quite good. For indirect fire. So where do you want these guys to go, Seb?
Did you say they're good at indirect fire or direct fire?
So the I start gives you +2 if they've got line of sight in indirect fire.
Then I'm just want to move that. Ooh.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but you got disconnected
It's
from
just
your server.
disconnected. So 1 second.
Yeah, the server's
Yeah, I
down.
just don't know what happened. Yeah, sorry about that. Is it? Oh no, TTS is down. What a disaster.
See?
Save
Jan.
save your game.
Yeah, and you have surrendered. I accept it.
Let's try again. See,
And I'm happy that those
You should have an auto.
didn't pop my
You were
IVs.
Should have an auto
EW
save.
EW'd.
My strategic cyber attack.
Yeah.
That's actually it's actually fine because that's worked out okay because we didn't hardly lose anything there.
The Chinese don't like
yeah, so these guys, yeah. So where do you want to put these guys then, Seb?
So they're
you're
good
not
at
sure,
direct fire, right? So I want them as
Yeah.
to do direct combat.
Against the ones down here.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's just move them.
Let's go get some.
To about there. All right. I think that's probably reasonable to say you've got a fair line of sight too. You might need to be a bit closer.
I'm okay with that.
Okay, let's put them to there. Yeah, that's fine. So you can draw a line of sight. Okay, there. So we know that you're going to be on minus. Do we say -1 in the end? So let's roll and
Gonna
see
be a
if I can
9.
finally roll. I'm really, really sorry.
James.
I'm a really good person to play against because this is just standard for me.
Yeah, these are as bad as my die roll.
Oh,
Never
man.
apologize. Never apologize for dice.
James is gonna get sent to a gulag at this rate.
You can see why I'm a civvy. All right. Sorry about that, mate. Okay, so you got 1 left to activate over here.
Yeah, the fist, right? Or the eye star.
Yep.
Yeah, the I star and the mechanized kind of like armored vehicle. It's embedded in. So you could separate out the I star separately, or you can move it with the unit.
For the ISAR is mostly like a reconnaissance ISR unit, right?
Oh.
Yeah, but just gives you. It doesn't have quite the range of a recce, but it's only got a range of 3 rather than 4 line of sight. But it gives +2 to indirect fire instead of +1.
All right. Can I move the ISAR on top of the hill?
So do you want to separate it out or keep it within?
I separate it out, keep it, and then move it up on
Which
top
hill?
of
The
the hill.
35 or
The 70.
over on 70?
Yeah, it's the one directly southern.
Okay. So it can only move a little bit. So on hills, it's a steep hill.
Yep.
Yeah. So on a steep hill, you've only got like 250 meters. So that's all you're going to get to. But
Yep.
you can. We basically got a decision here because there's a ridge here on this hill. Okay. So you need to decide. You want to be there
Yeah, that's fine.
where you are, or do you want to be hidden behind the ridge? Yeah,
I
okay.
want to be.
And
Yeah,
then
no, that's fine.
This guy.
I want him to get into contact in the south next to the other platoon. James, did you hear me?
He has quite the high ping at the moment. Yeah, and there's the disconnect again. Maybe James.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. As long as someone hears me, I guess.
Yeah. I guess James should stop streaming to Discord. I can do that as well. My system can handle that all. Let's see if I can connect back into the server.
Yeah, we're not seeing any.
Oh,
Okay.
it went away.
Stream ended. Yeah, we weren't
Okay,
seeing
so
any.
that was me. That was. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, we couldn't hear you for a while there. TTS seems to have.
Okay, let me try and screen again. Yeah, my computer's.
James, maybe
it's quite
just
slow.
rehost the TTS. I will also stream to Discord. My system can do that. That's not an issue. I'm wired in here, so if
Okay.
your network can't, that's all
So would
fine.
you? Okay, go for it. Do you need me to do anything, Jan? Or?
No,
okay,
there's
good.
the stream. I just need to reconnect to the server.
Okay, so maybe I just wanted to understand, Seb, where you wanted to move these guys. I'm just gonna. Was it there, for example?
Wait a second. No, you can ask again. Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
There's okay. Yeah, okay,
Yep.
fine. And so they don't have any anti-tank weapons, but they anti-tank guided missiles. But they still do have. They could still attack there with their chain gun, their cannon. So you could attack these guys if you wanted
Let's
to.
do it. I always shoot when I get a
Yeah.
chance.
Okay, I promise I'm going to roll better this time. I'm sure.
Ah,
James,
Okay,
too long for you, my friend.
so what's going on here? So they've got a combat strength of 6, but because they are firing at, so their range is this left column is a short range, so that's half their max range. So that's 1 kilometer. So within 1 kilometer, which they are within, they get +1 on their combat strength. So that means they're on the 7 table on the fire results table. So that's a nicer table to be on, 7 to 12. So I rolled a 6. You've got a CQ of 5, which gives you +1, so it puts you up to 7. They're in open terrain, which puts you up to 8. They've moved there, that puts you down to 7, and you moved and fired, which puts you down to 5. So a 5 on the 7 to 12 is 1 short of a hit, but it is a suppression marker. You're welcome. You are welcome. All right, Seb, you'll go, Jan.
yeah.
That was very effective there, Seb. Well done.
Okay, let's double check my mortar coordinates for this turn. DO5 still. So that's here. I guess I also need to move my US to DO4 because it is tasked to do so. Does that?
You don't actually have to task the UAS.
Okay.
Just do what you
Okay. Does that end my activation though?
Yeah, that's your go.
Okay.
Okay, Seb.
Hey, good question. Do I have line of sight on all those 2 southern units, right? Because I shot at them.
You have line of sight, but you don't have it with an I-star unit.
Yeah, that's fine. Can I move my UAS over those units?
Yep.
Go away.
Right
Hey,
there.
man. Yeah. It's, you know what I mean? The Grim Reaper brings death from the sky.
Okay, that's your go. Over to you.
Yep, I gonna shoot mortar at the foot infantry here. If
Okay.
my
Yeah, I don't
mortar
need 'em.
mission allows that. Let me double check. We are in turn 3, DO4. Yeah, that's all good. So that's just one ETX. I have to reduce to formations. Like so. And then I roll. An 8. Where's the table? Indirect fire.
Yeah.
So
your
I have in
recce is kind of
yours
actually
+2. The recce probably can't see them.
no.
Target's
Sting,
open,
it's
that's
not being
3.
very good recce.
Target is moved, so back to +1. It is foot and urban, is it? Yeah.
No, that's not urban. That's not urban.
Okay. Okay, so then it's +1. 8.
Okay, 8 on the. So you've got, because this is British. The British don't use 120. They use 81 mil.
Yep.
You've got an 8. That's one hit on those guys. So they will
Great.
go to their weaker side.
Mark my mortar as fired. And we replace that unit.
Yeah. With that one.
And then
And
it's
they
back
take
over to
suppression.
Sebastian.
Okay. Over to you, Seb.
Can I call artillery on those southern units? I know that's not their plan.
Yeah, you can. You are definitely not following the fire plan, but that is totally allowed.
For all the
so
ETX there is.
Well, Jan is not doing what my fire plan wanted, so I mean,
Best laid fire plans. Okay, so I'm guessing you'll want to use your +2 as well. You have to declare it
Yes.
beforehand for triangulation.
I don't want.
Just don't roll a 12 again.
I
would
did
prefer
roll.
you rolling a 12, preferably.
I think we're due a good roll.
Ah, that's much better. That's
God.
much better.
Oh my god!
But that might still actually have an effect, believe it or not. So
Jesus.
was it these? It was these guys, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm really sorry. So that puts. So you got UAS, which gives you +2. So you're up to 3, and then you've got +2 from the chit, which puts you up to there. They're in the open, which puts you up to there. They do have a move marker though, which puts you down to there, and they are mech. Yeah, you're back down to there. I'm really sorry.
It's just
Okay,
nothing.
sorry about that. And that's all your artillery gone now. Oh, bugger.
Oops. All right.
God damn it. Yeah, and I had you there for a second.
Yeah, you did.
Darn it.
So my hidden unit, turn 3, is released. Yeah, okay. And I do have to reveal the position if it fires, correct?
Yeah.
And what does it have? What's the weapon it has? Javelin, shoots 3. Guess that should be okay.
So what's happening is that in this scenario, blue begins with a hidden either recce or a fire support team that can. So if it's a fire support team, it has a javelin. So if you remember the front, remember the front cover of the game, it's got a picture of like a Royal Marines being inserted by a Merlin. So that is what this squad is. That's what I imagine it to be. So they're
yeah. Before those recce's bump into me, I will fire my javelin at this stack here.
Lame.
Nice.
Lame.
Well, the good thing about the javelin is it's pretty binary. It doesn't mess around. Okay, do your roll.
Yep.
Hope you get a 2.
No.
God damn it.
We don't need to go through all the stuff. That's 2 hits because the javelin does anything between 11 plus and 6. It does 2 hits, so that's going to be 2 hits. Okay,
Oh,
so
man.
That's the javelin gone though.
is it
Just a
gone?
one-shot.
So now we need to roll to hopefully doesn't get your attack HQ. Now I don't want to roll 2 ones. So that's bullshit. That's fine. So now we want to roll to see if the guys inside also take damage. They take 1. No, they take 1. Okay, over to you, Seb. And they're also going to take a 1, please.
Remember, you need to take that bridge.
Yeah, he's got distracted, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I'm not too worried about it, man. I can take the hills, call it a minor victory, call it a day. That's plenty of turns left, man. No, I'm not worried. I have a question. What can that little Overwatch unit do now that their javelins are gone?
Well, the Overwatch is also gone, right?
Not much. What other people have done sometimes is if you put them down here, what they can do is they can start harassing these mortar teams because that mortar team can't really be targeted. But these guys, a foot unit can assault, and if a foot unit assaults a wheeled or tracked vehicle which doesn't have any foot units to protect it, it breaks and it flees. So they can, but up there, well, you know what? They could they could assault the wrecking unit. They might take a bit of fire going in, but they might get away with it.
All right, cool. I'm gonna use mortars on that same formation of units I've been trying to kill forever.
Okay, all right. Is that so? I'm guessing that's not going to be in your fire plan. So I will.
Yeah, definitely not.
Your fire plan is EO3. No,
It's slightly off.
Yeah, slightly off. Okay, so that's going to generate a lot more. So we should have a chat about if you think the ETX is enough of a penalty for firing outside your fire plan afterwards. Okay, so look, I don't want to roll these anymore. I'm actually scared. Jan, can you please roll these 2 guys?
No, I get blamed for rolling low.
Come on, I'll take that.
That's not so bad. 7. Okay, so you're getting for the indirect fire, you're getting +2 for the UAS, and +1 because he's in the open, so it's +3. -2 because it's moved, so it's +1, and -3 because it's got reactive art. It's got armor, so that gives you -2 overall, which puts you on a 5. But the Russian red mortars are more effective than the blue ones in terms of firepower. So a 5 is it's just 1 short of a hit. So no dice, I'm afraid.
Both you and Jan are going to the gulag together.
So yep. Although you did an artillery, didn't you? So sorry, artillery always put a suppression marker down. I forgot that.
No, it's mortar. He doesn't have artillery left.
No, but he did artillery before, and I forgot to put down the suppression marker.
Right. Yeah.
The other thing, it doesn't matter, but just so you know, with artillery, there's danger close, so you can't do it within 500 of one of your units. But that wasn't an issue. And for mortar, danger close is 250 meters. For FPV, there's no danger close. Okay, so over to you.
Yes, I will activate this task group. Oh well,
get off the bridge.
Should I activate the recce's first? They probably have a task to go somewhere. Dover, okay. Well, yeah, let's move through these paths here. 1, 2, this direction.
Okay, Seb.
Oh, all right. I'm gonna have the Reiki engage its little Overwatch unit.
Okay, yeah, you can do that. So you're just going to give them a fire order. Now, what you can do, if you wanted to, you've got a line of sight. You can do something called combined fire. If you want, you could activate them both at the same time, and then you add up their combat strengths together.
Melee. Okay.
Yeah, and also that's going to be quite good for you because you're getting +2 anyway, so that's a 4. So you'd be on 8, which is going to be a pretty nice column to be going on. So they would both do that. I'm going to just check if that is within your orders. Yeah, so your orders screen west of Hill 55. You can't really do that. But what you could do is you could move and then fire backwards. Yeah. But yeah, your orders are screen west of Hill 55 for turn 3.
I have a question. Can I fire then move?
Yeah, you can fire, move fire at any point. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can do that
So
now.
my goal is to fire and then move past them.
Okay. The
Two
only thing is
screen.
you can't combine fire if you're moving and firing, but you could fire
Oh, okay.
separately.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'll try and roll for you. So they're both firing. 8. Going to be so they're in dense wood, which is going to be quite a lot of nice cover for them. So I'm not too optimistic for you here, but let's see what happens. So you've got they're +2 because they're troop quality 6. That's +2. Target is a section, yes it is. That's -1, so you're on +1. Target is in dense woods, so that's -2, so you're on -1. And then you're firing and moving, and you're red, so you're on -3, which puts you on a 5. And a 5 on the 4 to 6 table is a suppression, so they take a suppression. And then so let's just say you're going to end up where, about there?
Yeah, that's about right.
Okay, and then for these guys, you're doing the same again. That's not going to be enough. They're going to go to there. Okay, over to you, Seb.
Then this task group. I quickly need to take a look what's in there. The in-laws.
So you'll see here. Actually, I even forgot that. That's even worse because these guys have got a shell scrape. Is that a term you use in America, Seb? Shell scrape.
No, what is that?
Like a foxhole.
Okay, so it's kind of dug. So that's a -2 to hit them because they're dug in.
Okay, so these guys move up here and then they drop their
They're going to be suppressed.
FST and infantry into this little compound there.
Okay, so the FST can't be with the infantry because they have to be in separate spaces because you can't have a section mounted on an infantry platoon. Yeah.
Right. Well, then I just leave them mounted here. Why not?
Okay.
And then
they can still provide I-star even if because they're actually embedded rather than mounted. Yeah.
And then the tanks will go this way.
Good. Back to you, Seb.
One second, I gotta look at my sync matrix. As I'm just doing whatever the hell I want at this point. James, quick question. What happens if I have like a bajillion like transmission tokens?
Well, at the moment, you'll definitely lose the initiative. You'll get an extra, a minus on initiative, and the other opponent will draw 2 ETX, two EW chits instead of 1. But I don't know if that's enough of a penalty because at a certain point you stop caring. So maybe
I think which I've reached personally.
Yeah, exactly. So you've already broken it. So that would be good to get some feedback afterwards about if we think that's not, because this is still like in playtesting kind of like development mode. So feedback on that would be welcome afterwards. Because what we'll do is wrap up after this turn.
I will follow orders and move task group 1 down the road towards the bridge as it's supposed to.
Yeah.
And then fire upon that unit that's in the woods along the way.
Come at me, bro.
I'm coming. Don't worry.
1, 2, there.
Yep. And
well,
fire.
I mean, you've now got just saying, you've now got a stabber within line of sight of, his tank or.
Yeah.
No, let him shoot at the recce. That's all right.
What do you want to do?
Can I fire on 2 different targets with the 2 different units?
Well, yes.
You'd have to have the tank. Yeah, the tank can fire separately. Yeah. So you mean within these units inside?
Yeah.
No, you can't dismount and fire. So you'd have to. What you could do is activate these guys before you activate these guys. Dismount them and then be within range because they'd be here and they can only move 1,000.
So I'll just use the stabber and fire on everything in the front.
Everything.
So which one to go for? The tank or these guys or these guys?
Go for the tank.
Yes. Okay, that's nice. All right, yeah, and you can roll for me.
Barely in range. Oh my god, against myself.
Oh, it's almost a 10. Anyway, that still could be all right.
I'll take it. I'll take it, Jan.
Yeah. So he's got a TQ of 1, so that's +1. That's going to put on to 5. Target's an open terrain. Yep. 5. Has he got a move marker?
Yes.
Yeah, that goes down to 4. And the only other thing is you're firing and moving. That goes down to 3. So that's a 7 on the stabber table is 1 hit.
Okay.
So the tank takes the hit and is...
Oh, well, it's just flipped on the
Yeah.
2-4 side. Yes.
Okay. And then you've got the tank unit as well. Oh, no, you were moving. Sorry, you were moving your. Did I move the wrong task group there? Were you meant to move? Did you want to move your reserve? Or
No,
your,
task group 1. Yeah, no, that's right.
That isn't task group 1. That's my mistake. But it doesn't matter. It can have the same effect because these are guys have got
No,
stat
no,
as well.
that's it's
So,
the. I thought that was my reserve.
This is your reserve.
Oh, okay.
Right,
Then I'm just thinking differently. No, the unit that you originally moved was the one I wanted.
Okay. The only trouble is if you fire, they're no longer in reserve. But that's okay for now. But
That's fine.
Okay. So then you got the tank as well, which hasn't fired yet. That's
Mhm.
probably back a bit. Do you want to fire with them?
Yep.
Okay. At the tank.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to do it this time. I'm going to roll.
Definitely better for me.
Oh my god.
Really sorry. So that is 5. It's not going to be doing much. Plus 1 for the troop quality 6, 7 for open terrain, 6 because it's wheeled, down to 4. A 4. Now let's see. That is a on the 9 table. A 4 on the 9 table is suppression. So that already, unfortunately, it's already suppressed because it took fire last turn. So no additional effect. Oh, mate. Sorry about that. Okay, you'll go, yeah.
Yeah. What do I have left? 1 artillery strike, some FPVs, and the recce is all I got. Well, the recce has a screen order, so maybe he just pops out here, fires at the infantry, and then pops back behind.
Yeah. That's how you do it.
That's much better.
Okay, so they're rolling on a 2. You're not going to have many penalties, so it's probably just going to be you've got a troop quality of 6, which gives you +2. You're moving, so that's down to +1. They're a sect. No, they're not a sect, are they? They're an open, so it's +2 again. They're a foot FE with a move marker, which actually makes them easier to take. That's +3. So that is a hit, which actually eliminates that unit.
Yep.
Yeah.
For the fatherland.
And the Wehrmacht's like got the upper hand here. So the Bundeswehr. Wehrmacht. So my bad. Really sorry. Okay. Too many Second World War games. All right, Seb.
Just got these guys.
Yeah.
I mean, we can probably call it after this next activation. And
you know what? So just so Jan doesn't kill only one of my units, I want to kill that Overwatch unit.
Yeah, gonna try.
Yeah. Let's try with these Russians.
Okay. So you want to shoot at it or move up?
Move up and shoot. Yeah.
Could they do an assault? They could, right? It's in range.
No, they got to be within 1,000.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so no, you can't. If you could next turn. I mean, you've only got to we've got to roll high. That's the only downside with this. That's not going to do it. And then we'll do this one just to see if it happens.
No, not at all.
All right.
It's all right.
I think that's probably a good point. Anyway, just you've got a feel for the game and
Can I see my transmission markers? See how badly this situation would have been?
Yeah, so the transmission markers, majority of them are 1s, but there's 0s and it wasn't so bad.
All right, not too bad. What would a Jan been?
I only had one Marcus. So.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so that's the end of turn 3. So it's not looking great for red. And a bit of a concern I have in the game is, well, in this scenario, is that maybe red are it's a bit hard for red because they've just got to be blasted as they're trying to move through. So I need to maybe look on the balance side of things a bit. But yeah, so it'd be good to get any kind of I know this is a demo rather than a playtest, but anything, your thoughts or feedback you want to give anyone would be very welcome.
Hey, Jan, do you have any first? I have a couple.
Go ahead.
So in terms of the scenario, I would probably give red more artillery to one, just given their disadvantage in some of the close fighting, which is fine. I think that's perfectly good. But to just cover that distance, I don't think they have much choice other than just to either force them into a position where I have to pound them out of the bridge, right?
Yeah.
Or cover my fire, or cover my very open advance with fire, right?
Yeah.
So I think there's that. Because I have to inherently split my forces for this scenario to seize both those southern hills and take the bridge.
Yeah.
Right, which means I inherently will probably be mismatched somewhere, and probably as the aggressor going to a bad position without fires. The other thing about the transmission thing, I really like the idea, so which I will probably steal for another game. Right. At one point in my life, but I really like the notion that like transmission is like because it essentially quantifies command and control, right? That I'm getting on a radio or sending some signal to make things do something that is not according to the plan.
Yep.
So I like the concept of it and mechanically about pulling chits. But I do not think the incentive is there to hinder me from doing it, because I essentially was losing initiative anyway, so I was like very discouraged to even try to fight for initiative.
Yeah.
Nor did it give me a sufficient benefit to do initiative, right, in the first place.
Yeah.
So I think there was something missing on the back end of the transmission thing of making it meaningful.
Yeah.
Either to, because one of the reasons I would say, like for example, one of the things I would say that you should probably do is just like, you know, those dials. So I don't like meters, so I like recently loved dials as a component recently, to represent your signals management of like low, medium, high, or even a chit, whatever, to represent, like, because one of the reasons on a modern battlefield you don't want to emit is because you get easily targeted, right? So you can give that as a modifier to their fire missions against you, right? Or something else. But that's usually, if I was like saying, hey, if I'm emitting this much, Jan has a better chance of killing me because he is queuing all my signals, right? And I'm lighting up like a Christmas tree, then it will probably discourage me in any context to emit too much, right? And one of the things I would say is that to discourage me just going, because there was a player behavior that was happening that after, like, I knew that most likely I was gonna lose the signal transmission, like, differential. I was like, might as well just go big, right, this turn, and just transmit all the time, right? What's the difference between losing by 9 transmission versus 2, right? There's none, right? Was to change not only the, like, whoever has a differential can have initiative, sure, that's fine, but like to stop that, it's just like how much I emit will determine what my signals posture is. So I can go from low to high in one go, right? Versus just incremental. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be some sort of an, I don't know, escalating threshold.
Yeah. So that's one. And then possibly thinking about if you do something like that, you need a mechanic to also like reduce signals, right? That where I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go really high traffic messaging, but then next turn, I can do something to essentially not message and try to reduce my signature, right? And so forth. So that might be something to think about. Anyone else, as I gather my thoughts?
That could be interesting to add that to a move mechanic. where if you move, then the signal's old, right? They knew where you were when you were broadcasting, but then if you move, that could
Yeah,
change,
something like that makes
change the
sense, right?
posture.
Yeah. But I would say it's very similar. Is like if it's moving according to plan and not to the sync matrix and not to something else, obviously.
Yeah. Okay. Because I mean, you're a bit talking there maybe about counter battery fire as well, which is something I probably was trying to avoid because it's just complicated, adds extra rules. But I definitely think there's probably something there that I need to do. Yeah.
All right,
Because
concerning the artillery thing, I think the only effect going off the reference point is at the moment drawing additional ETX. Could also be, I don't know, a negative modifier on target acquisition, so to say.
Okay. Yeah. That's another thing to think about. But I still don't think it would stop Seb in that situation. I guess the reason is you might stop because he's got no ammo left. So basically, if you look at the sync matrix for red artillery, after about turn 4 or 5, it's just all about pummel here.
Yeah.
You know, that's the idea. So I did make a late change to move you both to 3 from 6. I just thought I was trying to be previously there was more artillery, so point taken on that. But yeah, the idea is you just pummel here and you punch through, and you use your reserve to do that. So your reserve can do 4 kilometers in one go. So that was my thinking about it. But yeah, I agree. I agree. It's not enough at the moment, and maybe signals posture. I want to try and avoid it being too complicated.
I would keep it at small moves. Don't do drastic changes because Soviet doctrine, I don't know if it's changed a lot, but Soviet doctrine was keep moving forward. If someone gets hit and taken out, there's supposed to be a unit behind you. You keep going. Artillery could never keep up with their doctrine.
Oh.
So I mean, again, my information's dated, but during this time period, we were trained to give up ground because the Soviets will just keep charging and they'll outpace their artillery.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. Any other comments from anyone?
Hey James, is there a rule of like moving faster on these roads?
So tracked vehicles move the same speed on open or roads, which is just the reality as I understand it. There's not a kind of in this. So in the game Battlegroup Wargame System, which is based on you've got the concept of column versus tactical movement, but I don't have it in here because basically if you can do like 6. This is like each turn's 15 minutes, half an hour. So if they go at full speed, you're just by turn 2 you're here. So I kind of like put some kind of like boundaries around it in that regard.
That makes sense.
I mean, it's based on rates of advance. In rates of advance is slower, right? So in the British Army staff handbook, it's like slower.
Yeah, no worries. Go ahead.
Observation I had was you're on a 2-die-6 bell curve for results, and so for scale and effect, is 2-die-6 really the right dice to be using, or should you be increasing that to increase the lethality of the munitions in question? Because I didn't see that happening during this game. I mean, you were getting averaging rolls and you were getting into no effect results about 40-45% of the time. I guess your play testing will reflect that. So, but the problem is I know you're using sections, but a lot of these missile systems have high PKs, and it's not reflecting in your results.
Well,
and I know there's a lot of movement, so you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, part of it was my turbo rolling. So if you look at like the fire results table, if you're on like the Challenger tank, so the main British Army platoon, they can at full strength, not take any hits. They roll on the 13 to 19 table, which if you get 11 plus, that's 3 hits, or 10 to 7, that's 2 hits.
questioning it because I didn't see the
Yeah, yeah.
tables. Okay.
So
Okay.
this is a platoon, so it's not just like one or two tanks, so that you're talking about wiping out half. So I think part of it's so also just about where do the numbers come from? Well, they're based on like operational analysis from the British Army. Not in the game that this is based on.
Yeah, I know, but on 2.6, your median rolls a 7, right? So, even with movement, you're almost guaranteed not to get a hit. Where a lot of these modern tanks have, quite a bit of stabilization on being able to fire on the move. So, I just saw a potential mismatch, and I was just going to say keep an eye on it during your play testing, and I understand your rolling tendencies. I just saw a vulnerability. That's all. But I don't see the tables. Sorry, I'm not trying to chuck on you.
No, I like it. No, no, I totally take your point, and certainly it seems that way in this one. But in other play tests we've played, like people are wiped out so quickly.
Yeah.
So
I'm not trying to. I just wanted to make sure you guys were heading the right direction with the. If it wasn't 2.10 was better. I don't know.
Yeah.
The
reason why I'm using 2D10 2D7 is because that's what the kind of the core system this is based on uses, and that's and the CRT tables which this uses based on operational analysis, so that they're quite confident in the numbers. So I don't really want to move away from that. Makes me quite confident.
So I have a quick question. You said this doesn't use rulers, right?
Well, not at the moment. I have thought about including it, but I'm not too sure.
Yeah, so the reason I asked that, multiple times we use the ruler function in Tabletop Simulator, right, to measure the distance in which I would move or I could see.
Yeah.
So I would consider including it.
Yeah.
Because even for me, there are times and one of the things I would say is to like Oak and Iron and some other like box miniature games have a really clever thing where they don't do it by they don't include a ruler that is by distance, right? But they scale it to their maps, right? So they're like, hey, this is pistol range, and there's no you don't look at a number, you're just like, does the ruler have a pistol on it, right? Kind of thing. So one thing you can do is hey, this is dismounted range, right? This is your normal track whatever range, right? And just match it to the icon of the unit. So I'm just like, hey, I know roughly this is a distance in which I can move and shoot or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And just do inverted rulers where one side is for shooting, one side is for
do you not think there's a risk though that people will spend a lot of time arguing over the minutiae of where they're positioning rather than?
Yeah, I think that is true either way, regardless of whether you have rulers, right?
Yeah.
People will those personalities who are gamers will do that regardless whether you give them rulers. They'll just go find their own rulers.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would just be my suggestion.
Yeah.
They could just be cardboard sticks that you just punch out.
Yeah. It's going to probably be like we did in Purple Haze. Actually, I was thinking, Carl.
Yeah. And that's very similar to how Oak and Iron does it. It just has cardboard sticks and it has little symbologies on it. They have some Gucci ones you can buy, but that's how Oak and Iron works. And usually it's pretty good. You're just pretty solid about how you're measuring things and so forth. And also for those who are not savvy on scale and so forth, right? It'll help them fix how far I can shoot, I can do this and so forth, right?
I can't eye distances to save my life.
Right.
Yeah.
For example, one of the things I would want to know if I had a ruler would be hey, from that bridge location that I need to go shoot at, right? What are the ranges of weapons in which I can shoot that thing from, right? So if I place a ruler, I can see on the map of hey, this is sort of the weapon engagement zone that I need to sort of be close to, that I can shoot from, kind of thing.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
Well, that it kind of tells the other player where you're looking. That could actually be something you incorporate into the intelligence.
Yeah. Or if you don't want to do that, yeah. Okay, and anyone else? Any other feedback?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
actually. I don't think that rulers are necessary here, but then I'm used to using sort of grid overlay maps with sort of wake movement for Kriegspiel and all that sort of things. So, I mean, the only times we used the ruler function in TTS basically was to check on line of sight interference.
Yeah.
I think it's very smooth. I think
Yeah.
the system is well put together, and you've thought out a lot. I really like the UAVs and the intelligence stuff.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what really makes it stand out a bit differently. I think for me, it's the UAVs and stuff. Yeah, good. Okay, well, thanks everyone for your input. I've put a link in the text bit of you can just sign up for updates for the game. So if you're interested, just fill in the subscription, the thing there, and then it will go up for pre-orders in a few months' time. Not going to do Kickstarter or anything, but I'll just do kind of pre-orders a la Little Commander, and hopefully we'll get some pre-orders. But yeah, any other feedback at any point would be very welcome. And yeah, keep a lookout and let me know if you want to do more play testing or anything like that. It'd be great to get you all involved.
Cool.
And